live. सर आई थिंक अब लाइव, एक सेकेंड सर, लेट मी चेक. एक सेकेंड सर. यस सर, सर लाइव आ गया. ओके सर, थैंक यू सर. सर मैं लाइव ले लेता हूँ. Hi everyone, welcome back. Due to some connection issue, the last stream just got abruptly ended. So I'll just wait for some time for others to join. After that, I'll be beginning. Okay. Just wait. I'll just wait for some time for everyone else to join, and then I'll be completing this problem. Okay. So let's wait for some time for everyone else to join, and then immediately we'll begin with the session. The left part of this problem. Okay. So if I am audible and my screen is also visible, so you can consider giving a +1 in the chat quickly, and then we'll be moving ahead with the left part of this question. Okay, I'll just wait. Okay, so sorry Seti, it just got abruptly and the stream just got ended because of some connection issue. So is that much part clear to you? Is that much part clear to all of you? Just quickly comment down below. Is that much part clear to all of you? The part that I told in the previous stream. So is that much part clear to all of you? Only then I can consider moving ahead, right? So is that much part clear to all of you? Then please give a +1 in the chat quickly. Okay. Is that much part clear to all of you? Right. Just quickly comment down below if that part is clear. If this part is clear, like for the last column, if you have R, then in that case you will be falling out. And in the last row, if you have D, then in that case you will be falling out of the grid. Koi nahi sir, yes sir, clear. Okay, great, great. So right, so this is what we did. Now that is what I told, right? In the last stream, that is what I told, that if you are in this, if you are in this column, right, if you are in the last column and you take a right step, so in that way you will be falling out of your grid, right? And if you are in this, grid, so in this case, what will if you are in the last row, so in that case also, if you take a down step, so in that case you will be eventually falling out of your grid, right? So that is not something that you want. Okay, so that is why what you will do with this is, you will whenever you encounter a D in your last row, so in that case you will change it to R, and whenever you encounter any R, so in that case you will change to D in the last column, because only then you will be able to say, only then you will be able to say only then you will be able to say that in your grid, only then you will be able to say that you choose any I and j, and you can reach to n comma m, that is the destination. Okay, that is the destination, right? Is this much part clear to everyone? Just quickly comment down below if this much part is clear to everyone, right? Just quickly comment down below. Only then I can say that I will never, my luggage will always, irrespective of the fact, I will only say that I can take any I comma j, and I can move to n comma m ultimately. Only I will be able to say that if my last column, if my all the last in the all the cells in the last column that I have, if they are having R, so I change them to basically D, and in the last row that I am having, in the last row, every D that I have, I change it to ultimately R. Only in that case, I'll be able to say that, yeah, I will not be moving out, right? In all the other cases, I'll always remain in my cell in my grid, so that is why I'll not be falling, and eventually I'll reach n comma m, right? So I just need to take care of the last row and the last column. Okay, that is all, right? All that I need to take care of, right? So that this is what I need to take care of, right? So what I will do with this, right? Now the question comes ahead of me is how what do I do with this, right? What do I do with this? How do I analyze this situation, right? Okay, this is the part that we need to analyze, like how to count, right? How to count. Now that is the part, because what to count is what we know, right? What to count in the last row. In the last row, if you have a d, then you will be counting it, because you will be changing that d to r, right? And in the last row you count what? You count number of down, right? Number of d. And in the last column you count number of r. Okay, this is what you will do. Everyone agrees on this? Everyone agrees on this part? Does everyone agree on this part? No sir, my logic is we want to change r to d in last column and d to r. Minimum cost from both sides is, this is also my answer. Like we want to change r to d in the last column, yeah. That is what I also want to do, and d to r in the last row, right? And we'll be counting that. That will be my final answer, right? This is what I'll be doing. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So now let's shall we if that much part is clear, then please give a +1 in the chat. Okay, if that much part that I have told all of you, if that much part is clear, then you can just consider giving a +1 in the chat quite quickly, so that we can move ahead. Okay, clear sir. Okay, what about you? Okay, right. So now let's try to see what we'll actually do. Okay, what we will do actually with this problem, right? So let's say you will be given first of all you will be given n and m. Okay, you will be given n and m. After that you take a vector. You take a vector of strings, because you will be taking all the rows. Let's say you take all the rows in S as an input, right? And all each S of I will be of length m, right? That is the column, right? This is what you will do. So what you will do, first of all you run I is equal to 0, I is less than n, and I plus plus, right? After that you simply input S of I, right? The current S of I, that is the current row, all the cells in the current row you are taking as an input, and the size of each Si is nothing but m, right? So in this way you will be having a n cross m grid. Okay, this is what you will be having. After that you try to check what I start from 0 and I is less than m minus 1. Why m minus 1? Because you will not be checking for the last column, right? You will not be checking for the n comma m cell, right? The last cell. That is why we are doing this. So you do an I plus plus, and what you do is, if you encounter s of n minus 1, that is in the last row, if you encounter any column, if you in the last row, if you see that there is any cell which is equal to d, so that means you are moving down. So in that case you will do a counter plus plus, right? Because you will be counting the number of d directions, because you will be changing all those d directions to right r, right? You will be changing all these to r. That is why you have kept the row as constant, because this is my last row, n minus 1, taking 0 based indexing, and I'll be checking for all the columns except the m minus 1th column, right? Because n minus 1 and m minus 1 is like my last column, right? This is what I will do. This is what I will do, right? And after that, what I will do, after that next step, I will run my loop for I start from 0 and I is less than n minus 1. Then I simply do an I plus plus, and after that what I will do, if my s of I m minus 1, that is, if this was the last row, this was for the last row. Now what this is, what this is for, what this is for the last column, right? This is for the last column. So if it is equal to r, so in that case, if my last column, if any cell in my last column, if any ith cell in my last column, that is m minus 1th column, if it is equal to r, so in all those cases I will need to change it to d, that is down. So I'll count them as well, and in the end I'll simply return my counter, right? I will simply return my counter. Is this part clear to everyone? Is this much part clear to everyone? Just quickly tell me in the chat, is this much part clear to everyone? Is this much part clear to everyone? Please quickly tell me in the chat. Is this much part clear to everyone? Just please write a plus clear, that approach clear. You can write clear, question is clear or the code is clear to in the chat, so that I know that everything is clear to all of you and I can move ahead by writing the code. Okay, shall I move ahead? So what I'll be doing is, first of all, I'll be taking long n comma m, and let's say moves, let's say changes, let's say I take changes is equal to 0. After that, what I'll be doing is I'll be taking n and m as an input. After that, I declare a vector. A vector will be of strings, okay, string, and I name it as s, and I will be taking n such strings, that is the n rows that I'll be taking, and all the si will be of length m, that is the column length. After that, I simply take I simply do I is less than n, and I do an I plus plus, taking all the rows as input, all the rows that are there as an input. After that, what I'll do, I'll simply run my loop. I start from 0, I is less than m minus 1, and I plus plus, that is I'm changing, I've kept my row constant, right? So if my s of n minus 1, that is my last row, if my last row, if any column is equal to what, if any column is equal to r, then I do a changes plus plus, right? Okay, and similarly I run a loop for the I start from 0 and I is less than m, and I simply do an I plus I is not less than m, I is less than n minus 1, right? And I plus plus, that is I am running for the last column in this case, and I will check that if my s of I, if my current s of I, that is the, if any keeping the in the last column, if anyone is what, if anyone is d, so in that if anyone is d, right, in my last column, if anyone is no, not d, this will be d, right? In the last row it will be d, and in the last column it will be r. So if in the last column if anyone is r, so in that case also I'll be doing a changes plus plus, right? I'll be doing a changes plus plus, right? This is what I will do. After that, what I'll do, I'll simply print the number of changes that I'll be doing, and in this way I can get my answer, right? Is this much part clear to everyone? Just quickly tell me in the chat. Just quickly tell me in the chat if this much part is clear to all of you or not. You made the question so easy and simple, sir. Okay, solution is simple, but explanation CodeForces is a bit hard. Now is it easy for you all? Is it easy for you, right? So Ria is saying you made it easy and simple. Okay, that's great, right? Is this part clear to everyone, right? You don't need to consider all the other cells because you'll never be falling out from that. Only you need to take the edges, right? The last row, in the last row if you are down, so in that case you'll be counting because you will be changing them to R because you'll be moving towards the right. And if in the last column, if you are moving towards the right, so in that case you'll be moving out of the grid. So in that case also you will be considering that, and in that case you will simply say that all those r's need to be changed to d, right? Okay, and in the end I'll simply print the changes. So let me just quickly copy the test cases and let's see whether it works or not. Okay, I haven't declared I. Okay, let's declare I as well. Silly mistakes that we commit. Okay, so it's running. Let's see whether it works or not. So you can see 2 3 1 3. Okay, so am I doing something wrong here? Let's quickly check. Okay, let me just quickly check if I am doing some error. Right, so if I take the strings for all n and m, I take that as an input, and if my I is less than this, so if my I starts from 0 and if this is equal, right, I'm not using the equal sign, that is why I was getting an error. I think now it should work. Okay, some basic mistake again, syntax mistake. Okay, so 1390, right, this is the part that we are getting. Let me submit the problem and see if it works or not. Okay, so I've submitted it. Let's see if it works or not. Okay, so you can see that this problem, yeah, right, it got accepted, right? You can see that this problem got accepted. Let me show you the code part once again for this problem, right? So you take n and m, you in the string you store all the rows, right? and after that you take the string as an input, that is the complete grid, and si will be the length of each si will be n, right? That is the column length. After that you check for the last row, right? You check for the last row. If for the last row, if any one is d, if any particular ith if anyone any particular column in the ith row, last row, in the last row, if any particular ith column is d, then you have to change it from d to r. So that is why you take a change plus plus. And सर 2D string की प्रैक्टिस कैसे करें, डर लगता है मैट्रिक्स एंड so basically just take the tags like strings, take the strings tags or the grid tag or the matrix tag if there are any type of those tags. Try to pick some problems on that and try to solve them on CodeForces and CodeChef, and then eventually you'll improve. Okay, this is what my suggestion is. Right, so is this much part clear to everyone? Sir, clear, sir, both concept and code. Okay, and if my n minus 1, if I'm in my last column, okay, if I'm in my last column, so I'll check for all the rows. If there is any row such that I'm going towards the r, so in that case I'll be moving out. So in all those cases I'll do a change plus plus, and then I'll simply print my changes. Right, is this much part clear to everyone? If this much part is clear to everyone, please like the video if you haven't already, and please give a +1 in the chat quickly. Okay, please like the video and please give a +1 in the chat if this much part is clear to all of you. Okay, okay, right, so this was the code for this problem. And now one more thing that I want to say, since we are running out of time today, so we'll be discussing this problem. This will be our first problem for tomorrow, that is C, that is problem C from the CodeForces round 294 division 2. So this is a 1400 rated problem, I think, for 1400. Yeah, this is a 1400 rated problem. So we'll be solving this problem tomorrow. Okay, this will be our first problem for tomorrow. I wanted to take this problem today, but since because of we are running out of time, so that is why we will not be taking it today. Well, this will be the first problem for us tomorrow. Let's meet tomorrow at the same time. Okay, let's meet tomorrow at the same time, 5 p.m. Tomorrow, that is Tuesday. And if you haven't liked the video, so you can consider liking the video, and just keep on practicing. Tomorrow I'll be asking that how many questions did you solve. So make sure to practice questions again. Okay, that is it for today. I'll just wait for 30 seconds more if anyone is having any doubt. Otherwise I'll end the stream for today. Okay, sorry for the network interruption. Okay, perfect. Sir, please provide questions in the morning. We will try to improve this part, right? We will try to improve this part. Okay, okay, right. So that's it for today, and we'll meet tomorrow. Okay, thanks a lot for tuning in. Okay, so thank you, and sir, provide question or create any telegram bot for question sharing.